Greetings, dear friends. Welcome to the ALLATRA TV Ireland channel. Nowadays, the Creative Society project is becoming more and more popular because the time of change has come. Time to change the format of our society from a consumer-oriented to the creative one. And we are going to discuss our views on society of a new creative format where human beings are fundamental unit of society, where every person can really live happily and safely. Let's find out together and build our future. My name is Marina, and today we will be hosting this chat together with Bhavin.
Hello, dear friends. So the Creative Society project has been launched on the platform of ALLATRA International Public Movement. The goal of the project is to build the Creative Society purely by peaceful means and in the shortest time possible. So you can find more information on allatraunites.com. Currently, the Creative Society project is at the informational stage, where participants of the project and everyone who cares about our world are doing their best to spread information about the Creative Society to everyone else in the world. So it is my pleasure to introduce our lovely guest on today's program. So her name is Holli Emory from USA. Now, Holli is a certified leading edge emotional awareness educator, a personal wellness coach, a podcaster, a speaker, a CASA, so this is court-appointed special advocate to provide advocacy services to children in foster care. And Holli was nominated by our previous guest, Dr. Nelson Bulmash. So welcome to ALLATRA TV, dear Holli. Thank you for accepting our invitation. And
thanks for having me.
Welcome. Could you tell us and the viewers a bit about your background?
So as you said, I'm a certified leading edge emotional wellness coach, and I work with individuals to help them connect with the wealth within, to build their confidence, their self-esteem, all of those things that, lead to having or living a life of abundance. Because as you know, based on the Creative Society and your goals, there's enough for everyone. We just tend to have this, false conception that we live in a lack society. So I help my clients connect, like I said, with their inner wealth and develop their self-confidence and to be able to live an abundant life because, quite frankly, it's our birthright for all of us to enjoy and to receive the abundant gifts that the earth provides for us. So we have a great, amazing planet that's here to provide whatever we need. We have unlimited possibilities. We're connecting around the globe. We're in 3 different countries, and it's a great time to be alive, to be quite honest with you. It's a really amazing time to be alive. There's endless opportunities for all of us.
Absolutely agree on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nowadays, lots of people around the world are saying that in order to create really comfortable conditions for every person, we need to change something. We need to change the format of our living, of our society, to the creative one, to the better one. How do you personally envision such a creative society where you, your family, every person in the world will be comfortable to live?
Well, I love the title of Creative Society because I think a lot of people, unfortunately, do not realize that we are all creators at heart. That is who we are as human beings. There is not a single soul on this planet that is not creative. We create by our awareness. So we're either creating something good or maybe something a little less than good. And the power of that creativity lies within our awareness. You're creating a life for yourself, whether you're working for someone, you're furthering your education, you're creating a family. I hear people say all the time, oh, I don't have a creative bone in my body, which is not true. It's not true. You're creating relationships with people at work, with your friends in social settings and things like that. So everything that we do, the core of who we are as human beings, is based on our creativity. And that creativity requires your awareness of what you are creating that will determine the level of abundance that you receive in your life. We create what we either fear or we are in love with. So we're either creating abundance or we're creating lack. It all depends on your mindset, if you will. So yeah, we're all creative. There's not a single person on this planet who is not creative, no matter what they say. You may not be artistic, you may not be able to, paint or be a composer, but you are creating every day that you are alive. So yes.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, we are creators of our life.
And it's fun, and I love it. And I love being a creative being. I love being able to come up with an idea. It starts with a desire. It starts with a thought. It starts within your heart. That's where all of your desires originate, from your heart. So if you think something, even something as simple as saying, oh, I have a taste for, a chocolate ice cream cone with sprinkles and caramel and marshmallows and things like that. That is a creative desire. And that's something that we don't think of as something that is a creative desire. And it's easy to achieve. You go to the ice cream store, somebody created an ice cream store with all these different flavors and options and toppings and all these things that you can go in and you can create the ice cream cone of your dreams. So you can apply that same principle, that same simple desire to your life. You can say, I want my life to look like this. And it starts with that awareness, that desire in your heart. And you can say, I want my life to, I want, how many kids, and I want to have this type of job, and so forth. So there's endless opportunities to create all day, every day. So.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. We have to. You're hinting and advocating for people to increase self-awareness, so they become aware of their thoughts. So if this is done habitually over time, then what you said is, then they can determine what it is that they really want more. So just to clarify, not everyone knows what they want all the time in every subject, because there's too many subjects. They might know that they want, more happiness or a better career or a better this and better that, but that's only 4 or 5 things I've mentioned. There's a lot of small wants within small subjects as well. So when you hinted at, a person becoming aware more, through that awareness, they'll start to determine all the other wants. And then by determining all of that, they become more happier as well, because once you know what you want and you go for it, then obviously that contributes to your happiness as well. So yeah, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing though. People don't realize that in that creative process, as you go and you grow every day, I'm a self-professed growth junkie. I love learning new things. We're learning what we don't want as much as we're learning what we do want. So once you identify what you don't want, then you have the opportunity to get really crystal clear on what it is that you do want, right? So you don't want to get burned by a fire. So you learn that early on when you're a child. I'm not going to stick my hand in the fire because I got burnt and I don't like the sensation of being burned, right? That can be applied to relationships, jobs, whatever. I don't like the sensation of how I feel when I'm at this job. So I know that this job that I'm doing right here, right now, is something that I don't want to do because I don't feel good. So it's following the flow of how you feel emotionally, using that inner guidance system to really hone in on what it is that you want to do by the process or through the process of eliminating what it is that you don't want. So that right there is creation, as in a nutshell, at its finest. So
listen to your heart.
Yes, absolutely. It will never steer you wrong. That intuition.
Every thought is a creation, Buddha.
Holli, as a court-appointed special advocate, you provide advocacy services to children in foster care, as Bhavin said before. Speaking about the basics of human relations in a creative society, what do you think the human relations should be based on?
Well, absolutely. It should be based on love, 100%. If you look in your heart and you connect with your heart and you sit and you maybe close your eyes. I have an amazing friend who does this process. It's called Heartbeats for Harmony. And it's just sitting in stillness and quiet and connecting to your soul and asking your soul. We have to ask ourselves these very important questions of what it is that we do want, what really, sets our heart afire, and it's love. I don't think any person can sit here for, a few minutes and just take some really nice, deep, rich breaths and connect with anything other than love, truly at the core. There might be some other things that are on the surface of that, but at the core of who we are all as human beings on this planet, no matter where you are, if you're in Iceland or you're in Australia or whatever, it is love. We want love. We want peace. We want happiness. We want joy. We want to know that we are loved. So in regards to the children that I advocate for, it's so important because these children have come from a place where there was, maybe a lack of love or just the perception of a lack of love. And they have gone through unimaginable things that they've experienced. But there is so much love surrounding these children from the volunteers. I work with teens specifically because I love giving teens. They're going to be transitioning. They've usually been in the system for a while, and giving them an opportunity to really tap into the love within, no matter what your family background is. I see it all the time. Everything that I do, people that I encounter, I see the effects of a disconnect from a love-based society. I see the pain. We're operating from pain. We're operating from a lack. And we need to shift that perspective and be open to receiving love, to living from a place of abundance and love. Love is abundance. There is no lack. There is no competition. We should live inspired lives. We need to be inspired by a person instead of feeling like we are threatened or if we are less than, live from a place of being inspired by somebody. If somebody has something that you see that you would like, instead of feeling jealous, say, okay, so how do I get that? How do I move forward? I really like that. I would love the feeling that person seems so happy, seems so healthy, all these other things. Instead of feeling like you're less than and shrinking, you want to use that as inspiration, as motivation to move forward and to just grab, everything that life has to offer. So I love doing it. I love working with the kids and all of my clients and things like that. I mean, because it's truly a magical life when we tap into that.
It's interesting you shared that because yesterday when me and another host interviewed another lovely guest, she brought love up as a priority as well. So yeah, and it really is kind of under overlooked or kind of underrated, that the whole principle of expressing love, not just relationship based love, but we're talking love for everything and everyone, and all things in our life currently. When that, what you're saying is, what you're telling us and the viewers is, the more that's expressed consistently, then they can have more abundance. So yeah, thanks for that reminder.
Yeah, I mean, like if you think about it, like when we were all growing up, we're taught love, but we're taught love from an external perspective. Like you love your family, you love, whatever. But are you taught to love yourself? The self-love, the self-respect, that's where everything begins, is within. And then you start to have the appreciation, the gratitude for everything. Like that ice cream cone that I was talking about. Man, I really love this ice cream cone. So it's what we focus on expands. So that's a basic core law of attraction principle that I use in my teaching. It's like what you focus on. So the more you focus on love, the more love expands, and you start to have an abundant experience from a place of love versus lack.
Thank you.
So just little things they build up. The little things add up. So
yeah, absolutely. I've seen that in my life, and many people have as well. And you, from your career, you've obviously seen that as well.
I
we have another
apply it.
question.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I apply it. I just want to say it's nothing that I don't apply to my daily life. It's everything that I've done, and my life completely shifted when I started to shift my perspective and to really practice that. So daily, yes.
Mm-hmm. Holli, you are a certified leading edge emotional awareness educator. So we're just going to ask you a question on education. Mm-hmm. So the question is, there's actually two questions. So the first one is, how do you envision education in a creative society? Like, how do you see it?
Okay. Well, I see education. Well, education, first of all, we've put education in this little box that is so limiting. We are on this old mindset, this old paradigm that no longer works, where we can only learn in a specified setting. We learn at home. We start at home. Then we go to what's considered our primary school. You go to kindergarten, you learn the basics. And then you go to, middle and high school, and then on to college, university, and you get a career. And that's pretty much the perception that is the goal. You get some sort of degree, you come out with a lot of financial debt, and then you live your life and you pay your taxes and you get a house and you do all the standard things. Well, that is such a false perception. There is so much available to us because, well, first of all, there always has been. Education is everywhere. Education is unlimited, and you should be learning every day through that awareness and that connectivity. Your environment is your education, right? So take that education, that standard education that we receive, and then expand that, keep expanding it out and out, like globally, We have so many opportunities, unlimited, take a course. We don't have we have the access to more education than we ever had before because of the internet. You can you don't even have to leave your house and you can learn a lot. Turn on a podcast, connect to a YouTube channel, a resource like Creative Society, any number of different educators out there. So education literally is unlimited. You should learn from the moment you take your first breath to the moment you take your last breath, because it is an ever-changing, growing, and dynamic process. You're learning every single day of your life. And then that helps also support having an abundant lifestyle. The more you learn, the more you grow, the better you feel. It all ties into our emotions of how we feel. I will guarantee you, if you are not feeling well and you are feeling sick, you are feeling stuck, and you are feeling limited. You are feeling like there is something that is probably missing. There's a lack. And once you start feeding your soul and your mind, then the possibilities are truly unlimited, and it's amazing, and you feel great. So the benefits and side effects are feeling amazing all the time. So yes.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. You're welcome.
You have kind of answered the other question. So I was just going to ask you, like, what sort of, in terms of the learning environment, if you had any suggestions or opinions on, like, how to, like, what sort of, how do you think as a society, like, should we change the actual environment in which we're learning, and how to make it more effective? I mean, you did kind of answer it, but it's up to you if you want to add to that.
Yeah, just learning is everywhere. Your entire world, your presence, you're being present in the moment is your classroom, literally. Sitting outside, observing trees, observing traffic, observing, any countless, life moves at a very, insane pace. But if you just slow it down and you become an observer, and you go to, Starbucks, and you watch and you observe through people watching. There's so much every minute of every day, every second of every day that you can learn from. If you just slow it down from within and you really observe and you be present, you are present in the moment, you are present in your environment, and you're taking it all in. And I know we get a lot coming from so many different resources, but you have the ability, you can train your brain to kind of slow it down and filter out a lot of the stuff. Okay, number one, stop watching the news. I'm just going to say that. Stop watching mainstream media because there's a lot of negativity. You really need to hone in and focus on the things that make you feel good and watch the things that raise your vibration, your frequency, that, you know, inspire you. The news is not inspiring. It's depressing. Stop watching it. Stop watching it 10 years ago, probably longer than that. I watch very limited TV. I watch things that feed my brain and my soul. So education is a very personalized experience. So find things that are of interest to you, that inspire you. Follow the flow of inspiration, and your education is, you know, unlimited, pretty much. So yeah, not pretty much, it is. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with everything. Thank you.
You're welcome.
As you said, we should be really careful what we watch and what we're listening to, because nowadays it's, lots of things that not inspiring at all. And your heart is a good filter, because when you see or when you watch something, you just feel whether it's a proper information or it's another lie. You just feel it.
Okay, so can I share something? So this is something that I had recently happen to me. We've gotten to this place where we are, number one, we're codependent. We're depending on other people to provide for us, to provide our happiness. So we're disconnected. We've come out of self, right? And we have all these resources within us. We've come from this, you know, someone needs to make me happy, someone needs to make me well, this, that, or the other thing. And it doesn't really feel really good. We need a pill for this, we need this, that, and the other thing, right? And really the cure is our own creativity, our own inspiration, our own connectivity to who we are as authentic beings. So I had someone say to me recently that and you have to filter the people that you have in your life as well, right? You have to be very cognizant of the people that you allow into what I like to call your emotional field of vision, because they're either adding to your life or you might even not know it, but they're taking away with their energy and whatever. It's just very draining. And we all know, you know, we've been in a room where somebody has walked in and you can feel the energy be sucked out of the room because the energy is so heavy and so negative. They're just emitting this like really awful energy. I had that happen to me years ago and I laughed because I was like, whoa, this is really weird. But I had someone say to me, and it sat with me, and at first it kind of stunned me in a way. They said, but who will take care of you if you get sick? And I was like, okay, well, number one, I'm not really planning on getting sick. I don't think any one of us plans on being unwell, but it's a part of life. We have viruses, we have accidents where you might fall and break something. And I thought about it for a while, and it really just didn't set well with me. And then I thought about, well, I don't really want to focus on the people that are going to only take care of me when I'm sick. I want to focus on the people who are going to take care of me when I am well, when I am thriving, the people that support me and want to see me do well. I'm not waiting to get sick so that I can feel loved. You don't need to be sick or injured so that you can be loved and receive love. The people that truly love you authentically are going to love you no matter what. They're going to love you, you know, when, you know, you're needy. Sometimes we're needy. We need other people, you know, and almost 8 billion people in the world. I'm pretty sure if I come down with something, I can find someone who's going to kind of help me through it. I've helped lots of people. We take care of people. That's who we are by nature. But it's finding and connecting the people who take care of you in your wellness when you are on your journey that are like, is really, and it gave me a new perspective on, you know, how we're living, you know, because if you're living on that, I guess that frequency of I'm going to get sick and whatever, and I got to worry about, no, you don't need to worry about somebody. You worry about the people, not even worry. Don't even worry, period. Don't worry. Stop worrying. Worrying, no good can come of worrying. Live your life, be present, be excited, and follow the flow of good energy.
Yeah, worry is a negative emotion. So good reminder for everyone to cut it out. It's just not worth the energy. We should be fussy with our energy container and just keep that vibration up, and access the other emotions of joy and peace and happiness. So thank you.
Yeah.
Holli, based on your experience, great experience working with different people, what do you think? What unites all people regardless of nationality, religion, social status, culture, so on? What we all have in common?
Well, it would be, I mean, I don't want to keep being redundant, but I'm going to. It's that creative piece. It's the love piece. It's having a good life. It's feeling good. I don't think anybody ever comes into this life saying that I want to have an unhappy experience, or I want to be miserable. You come in and you're full of promise. You take that first breath, you're learning from the minute you take that first breath and you come out of your mother's womb, and you're learning from that environment, and you're transitioning and you're growing, and you're, being, impressed upon, I guess, through your environment. I think, at the core, we all want the same things. We want to have a good life. We want to have a quality life. We want to experience love, and to feel loved, and to be able to give love. It's, it's a mutual thing to be able to give and to receive love. And not one of my clients, they don't come to me because they're living their best life already. They just don't. They just are not aware of the power within because of something in their environment, false beliefs, false practices they picked up, through, their upbringing or whatever. And they're wanting more because there is. For me, my piece was I always knew that there was more. And it's having that tenacity to go for it and to understand that you are here to create and to experience an abundant life, and to get rid of the fear, shake the fear. There's healthy fear, realistic, or would like to say rational fear. Like, there's a bus coming down the street, I should probably step out of the way, because if I don't step out of the way, I'm probably going to get hit by that bus, and it's probably not going to end well, So we have our irrational fears, and we have our rational fears, or our healthy fears. A healthy fear, an example of a healthy fear would be, doing something new. And not exactly, Valen, you were talking about in the beginning, and you mentioned that, you were still kind of new and you're learning the process and things like that. That's a healthy fear, but it's a fear that with experience, I always encourage my kids to try something new. Because even if it doesn't go perfectly the first time, you are learning from it. You're learning what you could do better. There's room for growth. So there's always room for growth. So a healthy fear is to go forward and, try something, experience something new that you haven't experienced before, and just be detached from the outcome, and know that the richness is in the experience. The wealth is in the experience of doing something that you've never done before, and be detached from the outcome. And when you attach yourself to an outcome or a person or whatever, you're living from a place of irrational, unhealthy fear, and you're setting yourself up for those negative feelings. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, being detached from the outcome, it's a great common theme that comes up in many books, whether it be spiritual or mind related. We've heard it many times. It's such an amazing principle to follow. So yeah.
Well, the pain comes in being attached to something. I don't know if you guys have ever heard, we have a saying, it's called a white knuckle experience. And it's like you're holding on so tight that the blood drains from your hands. Like you're holding on to the steering wheel because you're afraid, or you're holding on to like a cliff or whatever because you're operating in fear. And then your hands start to cramp, and then your muscles cramp, and then you get into you're having a painful sensation. And I will tell you, every single time, and I have practiced this, I let go of things, I don't hold on. and I allow the universe or God or Buddha, or whoever you want to identify as a higher power, to come in and allow whatever is meant to be to show up and to do. Because when you worry about things and you attach yourself to an outcome, or you get afraid of how somebody might react or whatever, or whatever, there's so much fear. That's where the pain comes in. Your muscles contract, you know. I have a girl who every time I encountered her, this is how she encountered me. It was like a defensive position. That is no way to live life. You know, the minute I met her, I was like, wow, this kid is like ready to fight, you know? So it's getting to a place of where you're no longer fearful, and you can relax, and you can just be, and you can, you know, we create so much like false, you know, unhealthy fear in our lives, you know, like, what are you actually really afraid of? Like I said, there's rational and irrational fear. Another healthy fear really quickly would be something that you're really excited, like a roller coaster or something like that. You know, it's exhilarating. Find the fear that is exhilarating, you know, and let go of all the fear that causes you to contract and be, you know, disengaged and all of that stuff from, you know, everything that's amazing in life. Yeah. So.
A lot of what you've shared, it very much overlaps with what the Creative Society is all about. So I'd like to tell our viewers a little bit more about the Creative Society project. So about the 8 foundations. So it will come up on the screen now. So after conducting interviews with people all over the world, well, I'll wait for the foundations to come through. So these are the 8 foundations. So after conducting interviews with people all over the world, the stages and foundations of building the Creative Society was formed, and it was described in an article which you can read, like the full version, on ALLATRAunites.com, the website. So Holli, we know that you're familiar with these 8 foundations and the stages of building the Creative Society. Can you share your opinion on, you know, how can we implement them? Do they resonate with you? And how can we implement them?
Well, they all resonate with me. And I was so excited when I read them, or actually when I first heard them on the interview that you did with Dr. Nelson and Grace. And I was like, wow, it's kind of like you get all lights are green. I think this is the epitome of how if you were able to interview everyone on earth, I don't really find that there would be very many people that this would not resonate with. You know, we all want safety. We all want to be free. You know, that restriction that I talked about, you know, that comes from fear, you know, your soul is not meant to be restricted. So that's where the fear, like your soul is kicking back. When you're being restricted and you get into like a negative space, it's because you are being limited in some way. And your soul is saying no. Your inner voice is saying no. This is, you know, I feel uncomfortable. And it's in that uncomfortable space that you should be pushing yourself out of that comfort zone, because there really is no comfort in being in a comfort zone or being restricted. It's a restricted feeling. So when you're feeling uncomfortable, that is your soul telling you that you need to expand out of whatever, you know, box or whatever someone has either you believe or perceive that someone has put you in, or you've put yourself in. You know, you're limiting yourself in some way. So go out there and experience life and express yourself, express your creativity through your creativity, connect to all of that. The safety is, you know, taking personal responsibility for your own safety. You have an intuition, you know clear whether you're going to be in a dangerous situation or not, and take steps to, rectify that. Be inspired to step into and create a safe space for yourself, right? And that includes, having people around you that you feel safe with, that you would trust implicitly. And even if that's only you, sometimes that's only you, create a safe space for yourself and then expand out from there. Be very discerning with the people and the places that you go and things like that, and the things that you watch and you allow into that emotional field of vision, right? So there's the safety, the transparency and openness of information. That's the educational piece that we've talked about. So, these are all things that are very applicable. Developing your personality through being creative, through allowing yourself to be open and to release the fear of being afraid of getting hurt. The emotional piece is huge, because a lot of people, when they get hurt, people don't necessarily want to hurt people. They just are dealing with hurt. They're harboring hurt within, and they don't know how to express it or release it or to heal from it. Like, we have a world full of, wounded people who have been traumatized in some way, shape, or form. And because they did not have the tools, and this is the core of my teaching, is teaching them to heal themselves and not, go to the external. But it's so imperative that we have the tools to be able to move on when we experience a trauma. Because if you don't, then that trauma over time becomes compounded, and you experience, so you have not healed from one trauma, then you maybe experience something else that you perceive to be a threat or a trauma. And then you get these layers of trauma and pain, and it's just this one big stack or ball of trauma and pain. And it's that pain that's being compressed that is being then projected onto or into your environment and people around you. So, you need to learn, you need to have those tools and those resources within to be able to really, handle life. I don't think it's harder than we make it. Let's just say that. So when you have the tools and you have the resources to be able to move and go, flow with life, whatever comes our way, whether you have an accident or whatever, you have the ability, when you have the tools, to be able to flow through and pass, and that becomes fun. I like to call it like the slide and the bounce. Like, you feel yourself sliding, and the power is in the awareness. So you just kind of can slide through it instead of like it being something really rough and tragic. It's not, it really isn't. It's something that you experience, but you need the tools to be able to navigate the rough spots in life. Without that, then, it's not fun. But it's really fun. Like, I'm having a blast. So and I have stuff coming at me. We all have stuff coming at us. We have pandemics, murder hornets, elections. Holy smokes, we've all been on the edge of our seats. Well, I haven't been, but everybody's been on the edge of their seats, and they've, been white knuckling it for the last year and a half. How much is this really affecting your personal experience? Really? How much is it really, truly affecting you? Like, it probably isn't. You probably have this made up perception, and, your life is carrying on. And, so we need to really get in touch with the reality or the rationality of life versus the irrationality and the fear that the media, pushes on us. And, no, nope. So, did that answer your question? I kind of was going through them. I have it open.
That was some great feedback. Yeah.
Can I comment on self-governing, if you don't mind? Really, taking responsibility for yourself. Taking responsibility for how you allow other people to treat you. Taking responsibility for how you treat others. Self-governing. Like, really, I think it goes without saying that there's power within that ability to be able to govern oneself. When you give your power away, when you allow other people to govern you, you limit your power and you limit your abundance and you limit your experience. I can't tell you how many times I've had different individuals tell me how I should be living my life, trying to shame, blame. And I'm like, really? No, I'm exactly where I need to be. So having that power within to be able to self-govern and stand up for yourself and not take on the opinions of other people. That's just their opinion. You can only live one life. You can only live the life that you have. You cannot live somebody else's life for them. It will cause you pain, anguish, anxiety, stress, all those things that are no fun. So focus on you. Focus on living your life. Be an inspiration. Give people a reason to live and something to aspire to by focusing on yourself and self-governing. Stop getting sucked into everybody else's drama. So yeah, that's it. Sorry, I'm a little bit passionate about it.
No, thanks for sharing. It's great to hear that feedback, because I did say earlier that a lot of, pretty much everything you're saying, I think everything actually you're saying, it really does overlap with the 8 foundations. So yeah, I'll just hand it. It was good to hear that. So I think Marina has a question.
And I think you gave us a good advices how really to make the creative society to be a reality. You did. Thank you for those advices.
Thank you.
Yeah, and as we're testing currently the theory of 6 handshakes, and I think we mentioned during pre-call. Would you like to nominate someone now for our next broadcasting, or you?
Well, I'm working on someone. I have to give her a little bit of nudge. I feel it's very important as we move forward, as we evolve, to include our youth. So I have put forth the invitation to my daughter, who will be 14 soon, because I would love to hear her voice. And I think it's very important that we hear the perspective of the individuals who are going to be inheriting our earth. I think it's so important as parents as well that we are able to allow our children to have their own experience and to not an unfiltered experience. Let them create their own lens of the world.
Yeah.
Let them experience life and develop their own opinions and their own personality and their own freedom and their own creativity, and not putting a pre-filtered lens from our experience on our children, because then they don't wind up living an authentic life. So I've put out the energy, if you will. So she's going to get back to me, but if not, I have a couple other people that I would love to nominate. So hopefully she'll do it. She's thinking about it. She tends to take a little minute. But I think her voice would be a wonderful addition. I've sent her the 8 foundations and so forth. But I think she did another podcast that I really had to kind of nudge her to do, where it was a global platform for our future youth and so forth. And she did amazing. So I think this would be great for her, but she's got to make her own decision. So if she doesn't do it, then I'll let you know who else.
Thank you, Holly. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
In the future, we need their voices. We do.
Yes. Let's bring the youth on. They're witnessing it. Listen, I'm telling you, have you ever been a child and you've seen an adult acting like a complete lunatic and you're like, what in the heck was that? Like, what am I like? It's so simple to them. It's these adults that totally, I'm sorry, but we trash it. We mess it up all the time. And I can remember being a child sometimes and seeing something, and it just, my soul, my pure soul as it was at the time, because I didn't have the influence of, where I had limited influence. And I'm just like, what in the heck? What is this person doing? You're supposed to be an adult. Come on now. So I think it's important that we allow the voices of the children, of the people that, like I said, are going to inherit this world, to come forth and speak. Yes.
Thank you so much for all your inspiring answers today, Holly.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. I'm so excited to be here. I was just like counting down the days, and I'm like, yes, this is right in my lane, and I love it. So, and you guys are amazing. I love what you do. So this was easy for me. It's a no-brainer. So,
Thank you.
Following that flow of good energy.
Good
Yeah.
vibes. To join creative projects of the ALLATRA International Public Movement, please visit our website allatraunites.com, where you will see the red button Join. All you need is to register and complete a short and easy form. And the volunteers of ALLATRA International Public Movement will contact you shortly. The Creative Society project has inspired millions of people all over the world, and this number is growing every day because creative society is what we all want, regardless of whatever. So it's a safe, harmonious, friendly, prosperous, almost perfect world we all want to live in and we all deserve to live in. And by joining our efforts, by each and every one of us participating in any way you can, together we can build society so much faster, better society. Thank you for being with us today and sharing your vision of creative society. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining our program, of course, Holly, and the viewers as well for tuning in. So we're grateful for, the enrichment, so to speak, and just the inspiring conversation, the knowledge, the reminders, youth, hinting about youth inspiration for the future generations too. And just, all the experience you shared as well. So we're grateful. Is there anything you'd like to add just for the viewers? Any final words to them, I mean?
Just really, I think you need to ask yourself the important questions. Like I said at the beginning of the broadcast, connect with your heart, sit still, get yourself outside or in a quiet space. Put your hand on your heart. My amazing friend, one of my amazing friends, I have an amazing tribe of people globally. So I never really feel alone, even though I have maybe taken a path that not everybody else can relate to. I never feel alone. I always feel supported. I always feel loved. But connect, I had to really, when you were able to disconnect from the external and connect within, then your connectivity expands in a way that you will never, ever even dream possible. So ask yourself the questions. What is it that I want? What is it that feels good to me, not to everybody else? What do I expect from my life? What inspires me? You're not here to live a life and create a life to please someone else. Just get that out of your head right now. You're here to live the best life that you can, and through that, you will inspire others and you will connect to others. So that's, just sit in a quiet space, find away from, media, Facebook, all of that stuff. If you can sit under a tree, by a river, get out in nature, connect, put your hand on your heart. Will Hale, my friend who does Heartful Harmony, that's what I was talking about. It's really connecting, and that's the source of your energy, and who you are in your essence is within your heart. So connect to those desires. That's my final words.
Thank you. Thank you, viewers, as well, for watching.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, thank you for watching us, and let's build together the world that humanity deserves.
Exactly. Yes. Have a wonderful evening, you guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Unprecedented event of present history. Initiative that comes from people around the world. Main project of humanity. People stopped being silent about urgent issues of our society. How it all started. May 2019, International Online Conference, Society, The Last Chance. 140 countries of the world, hundreds of thousands of people online, hundreds of broadcast platforms, translated into 7 languages simultaneously. If we all want to live in peace, why do we have a world of violence and destruction? It is up to us to build a different world. How can we do it? December 2020, Creative Society. United we can. 180 countries of the world, millions of people online, thousands of streaming platforms, 35 languages simultaneously translated. People have voiced today's reality and what they truly desire. And it is the Creative Society. All cultures have an image of the ideal world people want to live in. A world that prophets talked about. The time has come when we can make it real. How will we use this chance? Let's meet March 20, 2021, 3 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time and 10 a.m. Eastern Time. International online event of global scale. Creative Society, what the prophets dreamed of. This is the day the world will unite to find out the truth. Join the entire humanity and spread the message.